Don't come back 8-10 years later and mess it up, you know? Hi guys, and welcome to the Shan Caravan. This is new. Hi, and welcome. I'm trying to start a podcast of sorts. I know everybody and their mama got one now, but we're going to talk about things that no one else is talking about. We're going to talk about things that matter in the gaming community, in the gaming world. We're going to talk about this journey of gaming, right? Which is what the Caravan is about, right? A journey, if you will. Today's episode, as you probably tell by the title, we're talking about horror, indie horror, sequels, and things that we're looking forward to, things that we maybe are hoping would change, and maybe just what are you guys looking forward to? The last couple of months, I've been trying to go back and play games that I haven't seen in years, you know what I mean, right? Like I'm talking 10 years ago, back when like the heyday of YouTubers and Let's Players playing like these indie horror games that would come out. A lot of times they weren't like graphically beautiful, but the story is what made them so good and memorable. One of which is good old Sallyface. I played Sallyface on the channel like, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I personally love Sallyface. I enjoyed it when I watched it years ago. I still enjoyed it when I played it today. A lot of stuff still rings true. I think it's a beautiful game that talks about like mental health and just being an outcast. And I think that's why a lot of people resonated with this game, and Sal and Larry and Ashley. But this isn't a review for the game. We're talking about the fact that there is word of a Sallyface 2 coming out, which from the horse's mouth, I believe on the Steam page, as well as whatever Portable Moose has, just talking about the game, that they are looking for artists to help create gameplay for a Sallyface 2, which confirms that it is in the works, which is exciting, which I'm excited for, because while I was playing Sallyface, which was like this was in 2025 that I was playing it. Me and my friend were talking about it because she watches my gameplays, and this was her first time being exposed to Sallyface, and she's like, it's so good. Like, is there more? Is there a sequel? Like, it left on a cliffhanger, and I was like, nah, there's no sequel. She was like, do you think they'll make one? I'm like, no, it's been like 8-10 years since this game came out. Like, if they were going to make a sequel, it would have already happened by now, because the game wasn't, like I said, graphically grand or anything. So it's not like it would take a lot to make another game. I mean, yes, it's game design. It's going to take time, but it's not like we're making a AAA Unreal Engine 5 or whatever game. So it's like, okay, they could do this, right? So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little skeptical. As much as I love Sallyface, I'm sure a lot of people will agree that the later chapters took a turn. Like, Sallyface started off strong with like this outcast kid. There's something weird going on in the apartments that you got to figure out. And, these lovable characters. And it was just really special, And it felt like there was a cohesive story, right? Like, there's ghosts that we're trying to find. And then it went from like ghosts to like witches. And then we brought in aliens. And then we brought in a cult. And it just started to morph into this too much. It was just too much to follow. It just feels very weird. Like, it seems like there were multiple ideas that the creator had or the writer had, and they just kind of threw everything at the wall. Like, how they say that saying, you throw it at the wall and whatever sticks you go with. They stuck everything to the wall. Like, we're doing everything. And they left it on a cliffhanger. Sal's part of Ashley in her arm, like Tears of the Kingdom style. We don't know if Todd is still possessed or not. His eyes were red. I remember a lot of this because I just recently played it, but Todd's eyes are red at the end, even though we think that we got rid of the cult or the red-eyed demon, but it's like, are they just irritated? He needs, some eye drops, or is it because he's still possessed? Larry's dead, which I don't know how we're coming back from that unless there's flashbacks or like it takes us back to like where Larry was during his time and like the great beyond. So it's like, how do we move forward? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, is it going to get more weird and convoluted and make no sense? Or are we going to kind of rein it in and just end it? You know what I mean? So I'm like, I want more, but I don't know how you come back from that in a way that's meaningful. Because like, as much as we love Sallyface, we don't want to see it ruined. We don't want to see it, you know, tarnished and going down a weird path. And it's like, you could have just left that, you know, don't come back 8-10 years later and mess it up, you know? So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure with that as well, which we don't even know when it's coming out yet. We just know that it's going to happen, which I'm fine with waiting. I will wait years if it means we're going to get a masterpiece. You know what I mean? The other thing that concerns me is that in the first game, they had like secrets, right? Where like you could collect all the tapes, you could find all the letters that like had nothing in it. And I think there was a door that you could go through if you moved levers in the right sequence in a part where you're running. And like, don't get me wrong, if Poppy and Five Nights at Freddy's has taught us anything, it's that you hide little secrets and lore bits throughout your game, which we all love. And we love to find them. But there was a lot of information that played into the actual story that was completely missable if you didn't get all of those things. And it's like, I don't like that. Like, Jim Johnson being an alien and the whole thing about his sister, you wouldn't know that if you didn't get that door. And I think if you didn't get all the tapes, you wouldn't know that. But like in the end of the game, when you're talking to Jim, you're having a conversation as if you're aware that he's an alien and the stuff about his sister. And a lot of it will go over your head if you don't know. And it's like, what are they talking about? Because they talk in the sense that like the viewer also knows, you know? I saw the conversation that you have with, God, what is his name? Oh, I forget his name, but the boy that you talk to in the bathroom. But anywho, the guy that you talk to in the bathroom is completely missable. I missed it on my first playthrough because I thought that you just go straight, like, there's nothing that leads you to go to the bathroom. They're just like, oh, you got what you needed. Go talk to the group. So you go talk to the group. So I missed it. And it's such a big monumental thing at the end of the game where he betrays his father, who's the head of the cult, to help you guys because Sal was so nice to him when he was a child. And it's like, that means nothing if you didn't have that. So it's like, I hope that they remedy that and don't add in like skippable lore that is needed to understand the game. But I'm really excited for Sallyface. I'm really glad I played it again on the channel. So I'm really excited to, you know, go with fresh eyes into the second one with you guys. If you guys want to check out my playthrough, I'll link it somewhere on the screen. The second bit of news, like, y'all, I was excited for the Sallyface news because I was just on Steam and like I had it up because I've played it recently and I saw the thing and I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't remember seeing like an announcement trailer or anything for it, but I recently saw an announcement trailer for another game, which really blows my mind. We've got a new, I guess, Kill Monday game. They are who is responsible for both Fran Bow and Little Misfortune. And this was literally yesterday, like August 28th, that they posted about that there is a third game coming. And I'm so excited, you guys. I've played Little Misfortune on the channel. I'll have it linked somewhere. And I loved Little Misfortune. I watched it years ago and I played it myself. And it was a beautiful yet demented story, but it was cute. And it also like touched me in a way because I feel like there was a story there. There was some relatability there of like going through difficult things, but seeing the bright side of it. And it was just a great little romp, right? What's actually very ironic and funny about this announcement coming out is I just recently started playing Kindergarten. And before I played Kindergarten, I was going to play Fran Bow. I actually recorded 2 episodes of Fran Bow, but I was like, man, this game is so dark and gory and sad. It touched a lot on mental health, similar to Sally Face, but in a more just depressing way. It was just, hey, so-and-so's dealing with this and so-and-so's dealing with that. So-and-so had this happen to them. And it was just like, yikes. Like, it was very like trigger warnings everywhere. And I was like, I don't know that I want to play this on the channel. Like, I watched it years ago, so I don't really remember every little detail of it, but I'm like, I don't remember it being this dark. Maybe it's just because at the beginning you're in the insane asylum, but I got turned off from it and I was like, this is a little dark. I don't know that this is the path I want to go right now on my channel. So I was like, I might play it later, or I might just scrap it and not play it at all. But now that there's another game coming out, I'm like, well, shoot, I have to play it. Like, there's so much more lore that's in Fran Bow than I think is in Little Misfortune. Like, they throw little, like, hey, you remember this in Little Misfortune? But Fran Bow was like the solidifier for the universe, right, that these games are in. So it would be kind of weird to play the 3rd game without playing Fran Bow. So if I can finish Kindergarten by October, I'll probably start uploading Fran Bow. I was trying to leave October free because of Amanda the Adventurer 3 is supposed to come out this fall, but there isn't like a specific release date yet. It's like, it's coming out on this day. It's just said this fall. So I figure if it ain't coming out in September or November, it's coming out in October. Spooky, scary month. Like, it just makes sense. So I was trying to leave October open, but I mean, I think I could just play some Fran Bow and then take a break from it if whenever Amanda comes out and I'm still playing it, and then come back to it. But that way we'd have it done and completed and refreshed in our minds before this 3rd game comes out. So I'm really excited about more of this universe because I really loved Little Misfortune. It was a sweet game, and I think they learned their lesson from Fran Bow. How I was saying, Fran Bow is really, really dark, and they tried to throw in some cute elements, but it was just mostly scary and dark. In Little Misfortune, it seems like they added in more humor, more positivity. Even the art style is more cartoony and more lighthearted. So they kind of went away from the gore and more just horror, not necessarily gore. But I'm curious if this 3rd game will be a blend of the two or what direction they're going to go in. They had Little Misfortune voicing the trailer for it, so hopefully they're going in more of that direction. I can't say too much about Fran Bow other than the fact that I'm going to play it soon. I did watch it years ago, but like I said, I don't really remember every last little detail about it. I just know that there was a lot of different worlds, dimensions, things of that nature, and the fact that there's like this overarching enemy, boogeyman, if you will, and that things happened. So I'm really interested to know, like, is this gonna be a conclusion or just more? Like, I'm really excited for this, you guys. I completely forgot that Amanda the Adventurer is also like a part of that list of indie horrors that are getting their lick back, getting their time to shine. I played the demo. I played the first 2 games on my channel. Like, I think with Amanda the Adventurer 3, this is supposed to be the conclusion. So like the end all be all, we get all the answers. And I'm really excited for that because I feel like a lot of indie horror, Poppy, Five Nights, have just kind of milked their franchise to the nth degree. Don't get me wrong, I love Poppy. I've been playing it and enjoying it. However, it's like every time you think you've solved the lore, they come out with a new game and you're like, okay, cool. They're going to like tie up some loose strings. And they're like, here's a new character that's never been brought up before. Here's new people who've never been brought up before. So now when you thought you knew everything, there's new information and new pieces to the puzzle. And it's like, how do you put together a puzzle if they keep throwing in new pieces? Like every time you're like, oh, I've got it almost finished, but there's this spot here that I can't tell what goes where. And they're like, oh, that's because there's more pieces. It's like you can't actually complete it. You can't actually come up with an idea of what's going on. And it's like, how many games is there going to be? Like 10, 12, like Poppy 14. So I'm interested to know how this ends. And it seems like we're starting at the beginning, at least with the demo, where like you're some sort of informant that's gathering data for Kate. So this has to be before Kate died, and there's like toys scattered around that you see in Kate's attic. So I'm like, either he brought those to Kate, so this is happening before the first game, or Kate goes in there herself and had got them. But I'm really interested to see where we're playing in the timeline. There's like the cryo chambers that the kids are in. I made a joke about how a kid was a trash can, and I was like, could you imagine being kidnapped and put into this like crazy world and you the trash can? Like, you got me messed up, dude. Like, make me something. Make me a flower. The possum, whatever. I'm really interested to see where they go with this. I'm ready. Alrighty, let's get it. I need a release date so I can plan around it. I think the last thing I'm going to touch upon today is games that I would like to see get their sequel, right? Because we're seeing games from like 8-10 years ago have their resurgence. There's a few that I love that I would like to either see reimagined or some sort of spin-off from them. I'm really proud of Sallyface for doing it, because if they wanted to come back, like, really the last like 4 or 5 years ago would have been the time to come back, when like indie horror had a surge. Everybody was streaming, everybody was a YouTuber, which, I mean, we're still seeing that today, where there's lots of people out there playing horror games, specifically indie horror games, because they are so quick to make. There's new ones every other day. So like, now is the time for them to jump on the bandwagon and bring a sequel in. But like the old school RPG maker indie horror games like Ib, The Witch's House, Zao, there is a remastered version of Corpse Party. Like those games, and like I'd love to see those come back and have a sequel, things like that. And To the Moon. It wasn't a horror game, but it was in that same category of like RPG maker. And I was like, oh, I'd love to see more of that. I think there is some sort of sequel to the Moon. I might need to get on that, because I'm really interested in that. But I would love to see games like that have a resurgence and come back, you know. At the Caravan, I mean, that's kind of what I do, is I like to do a blend of like older games and newer games, because that's what I personally love, you know. It's like there's some nostalgia behind older games. I mean, I play a lot of GameCube games because that's like my bread and butter. That's like the first system I had, or console I had, that was my own to play. So it holds a special place in my heart, but it's nice to look back at those games, and it's nice to also see what's coming out and new. And I think it's nice having that blend, because a lot of the new games that are coming out, they start to bleed into each other. They start to mimic each other. No pun intended. A lot of people have said that, you know, Secret of the Mimic really felt like playing Poppy Playtime, like a lot of crossover. So, yeah, it would be nice if we could have some of the past coming back. Something new. I guess it's not new, but something fresh, you know what I mean? As opposed to what we've been seeing, just a lot of the same old regurgitated mascot horrors. And I want to see something different, you know? I think I'm going to leave us off today with questions. What is a horror game, whether it's a big name horror game or an indie horror game, that you would like to see a sequel to? Made me think of big names. We've got more Resident Evil coming soon. We've got more Silent Hill coming soon. Like, horror is It's on the rise right now, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm really excited to jump in, throw my head in the ring for some of these games. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, I'm going to link all the games that I mentioned below that I've played on my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.